media reports. What is it footnoted? Dogesh Bhai ka Atank is wrong with the order. Let's go by that. And then I'll tell you about the exact how we can work from here on. Firstly, this is an unprecedented order. Unprecedented in what way? And this is not about dog protection. This is not about animal protection, our protest. It is about judicial overreach. Why? Firstly, this is the first order in the history of the judiciary where the judiciary has charged money to be heard in court. To be party to this case, to be enrolled in this case, you have to pay money, and not a small amount. They have charged individuals. If an individual wishes to be a party in this case, they will pay a sum of 25,000 rupees. And if you're an NGO or an organization, you will pay a sum of 2 lakh rupees to just to be heard. This is the first time that you have to pay for the privilege of approaching court. Never before has this been done. What implications does this have for the common man? Next time when the common man wants to seek justice, will he have to pay for it? Otherwise, till now, justice has been free and fair and fearless. But this time it is not so. So that is the first point.
Ma'am, the question is, ki, do you have any proof? Like you said, ki 2 lakh you have paid.
Yes, we paid 33 lakhs. 33 lakhs has been paid by the people representing court. And the unfair part is the court has said those who wish to speak on behalf of the animals will pay this money. Those who have a problem with animals who speak from the other side are free. So that is,
It's not fair.
so it is, the court is already biased. It is already showing partiality. Can such a court give an impartial order where it is already displayed such a strong bias? Second is, what is the job of a court? To listen to arguments, to evidence, to find the truth, and to make a judgment based on reasoning, logic, evidence, and the greater good of the public. Correct? Here, nobody was heard. The court typed up an order in its own chambers, came to the courtroom, tabled the order, and went out. Not one person was heard. We had India's top lawyers, from Mr. Kapil Sibal to Mr. Abhishek Singhvi to Mr. Siddharth Luthra to Mr. Percival Bilimoria, representing, they were armed with scientific data, facts, research, expert opinions, findings from around the world, everything they were armed with to present to the court. They were not given an opportunity in spite of money having been taken. So that's double धोखा.
Yeah, exactly.
फिर उसके बाद, when you go to the Supreme Court being the apex court, it holds you to the highest standards of truth. When you present something, you have to present all the evidence to support that fact. It doesn't just take your word for it. I can't say that this necklace belongs to me. I have to show कहाँ से आया, कब आया, bill of receipt, 3 witnesses, 5 this thing, to be able to prove anything. But in this case, this is the first Supreme Court judgment that is not footnoted with any evidence, data, statistics, expert committees. No evidence has been footnoted that the court has relied upon. What has the court relied upon? Only media reports. What is it footnoted? Dogesh Bhai ka Atank is what the Supreme Court has written. I mean, how can the Supreme Court rely on media reports? Media works under very tight deadlines. It can't always get to the truth. The same media declared Dharminder dead. Was that the truth? So then, when we have instances of complete misreporting, can a Supreme Court rely on just media reports? Or then why don't we just have a media trial? Why bother to go to court? Why bother to pay money to court if we're just going to go by media reports? So this is the first such instance. Fourth, what is the duty of a court? The duty of a court is to get the law implemented, to see that the law is followed. What is a court's job? To see that the law is followed. It bases its judgments on what? The existing laws. It doesn't make the laws. The Supreme Court doesn't make the laws. It protects the law. In this case, the Supreme Court has gone against the existing law. The law was ABC, that you will sterilize, vaccinate, and replace. The Supreme Court has gone against that law and said you will pick up the dogs and put them in shelters. There is no such law. So, this was not its job. Fifth, the Solicitor General of any country, what is his one job? His one job is to defend the government's laws. Any law passed by government is to be defended in court by the Solicitor General. In this case, the Solicitor General himself argued against the law and encouraged the court to break the law and to go against the law. Again, unprecedented. So everything in this judgment has been done wrong, and we have not been heard. The media has not amplified all these discrepancies. The court has not given us an opportunity to present these facts. It is just like first only animals were bezuban. Now people standing for them are also bezuban. Now, what I want to tell you about the actual order and what we can do with it. The actual order specifies at point 28 that in 8 weeks' time, the court wishes for a compliance report from all the states. What is that compliance report have to provide? One is the stock of rabies vaccines, and the second is the security of all the uh, institutions. There are like schools and hospitals. Have they been fenced? Okay. They have not talked about catching dogs or imprisoning them in shelters in 8 weeks. They have said, give us this compliance report. Secondly, the court has given directions that it is to be implemented in a it is to be implemented in a sequential fashion. Point A is a list has to be prepared putting down all the schools, colleges, hospitals, railway stations, and bus stops of the area. These have to be listed, and sports stadia. These have to be listed. Second, based on this list, all these institutions have to be fenced. Now, fencing means not fencing that already exists. If you say this is a wall that is already existing, not good enough, because if dogs are inside your premises, how did the dogs get in? That means these walls have not been effective. So you have to create new barriers, new barricading that will be effective against dogs. So it cannot be existing walls. You have to build new. So firstly, you have to do that. That's point B. Point C is you have to appoint a nodal officer who oversees this work and who looks after this issue completely. What is D is there have to be regular checkups to see that no dogs have come. E is pick up the dogs and take them to designated shelters. What does a designated shelter means? A predetermined shelter. Now, what is a predetermined shelter? Based on the list. If you've got a list of institutions, उसी के हिसाब से you have to have a list of shelters कि यहाँ के कुत्ते यहाँ जाए, यहाँ के कुत्ते यहाँ जाए. What is a shelter? Simply by putting a fence around an area and putting dogs into that enclosed area does not make a shelter. Okay, a shelter has to have a shelter for healthy dogs that you want to keep lifelong. These are healthy dogs. They have to have exercise areas, they have to have kitchens, they have to have uh, proper enclosures, they have to have all weather roofing, summer, winter, rains. It has to protect them against all of that. It has to have segregation per size, per gender, per disease. अगर एक को बीमारी होगी, it shouldn't फैलो. So you have to have segregation wards, you have to have isolation wards, you have to have sewerage, which means an effluent plant.
Ma'am, court said कि we have to shift the dogs in the shelters, but we don't have a shelter.
Exactly.
So this is a major problem.
Exactly. This is what we don't have these shelters. So where are we to shift these dogs? What municipalities are doing at the moment is they are shifting them to ABC units. Now an ABC unit is not a shelter. An ABC unit is a very limited purpose where dogs who are operated are kept for 5 days, and they can be kept in a small enclosure because they are recovering from a major operation. So they should not be running and chasing and exercising. Okay, so they can be kept for 5 days in a smaller space. But for lifelong, to put dogs for 10 years into a small enclosure is extreme cruelty and violation of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, which the order says we cannot violate. So you cannot take them to ABC units. So if anybody is planning to take them to ABC units, you have to stop it immediately. Say you have to take them to a shelter. Where is the shelter? Until you have a shelter, you can't take the dogs. Okay? So that is point number one. Second is, what is the costs that this order entails? The cost of 1,000 dog shelter, you need 2 to 4 acres of land. In the NDMC area, 2 to 4 acres of land is going to cost you 200 crore rupees. Then come to the costs of building that shelter with all weather roofing, kitchens, segregation wards, administration buildings, electricity, water, sewerage, maintenance,
Because they want too much
sanitation,
facilities.
sanitation, or it's needed if you're going to keep dogs like that. If you are taking the responsibility of dogs, the Supreme Court has said they have to get all care. There is the same order says they have to get all proper care. Now, for all proper care to be provided, you need all these facilities. So you're going to build this. You're going to use 33 crores more. So 200 crores plus 33 crores, and this is only for 1,000 dogs, mind you. So 233 crores. Then for maintenance is another 35 crores a year. So you're going to spend 270 crores per year. A one-time cost is the structure, but the other you're going to spend 35 crores a year for 1,000 dogs only. And if you've got 5 lakh dogs or 50 lakh dogs across the country, how many hundreds of thousands of crores are you going to spend? Is this a practical solution?
No, because our government have not budget now.
Exactly. This is more than the government's whole budget for the ministry. No, for the ministry. In a country which doesn't have midday meals for its children proper, you're going to spend hundreds and thousands of crores on dog shelters. Doesn't make sense. And will these shelters be properly run? How can they be? Look at the state of our gaushalas. Look at the state of our orphanages. Look at the state of our widow homes. Look at the state of our old age homes. If people can't be looked after properly, do you expect the municipality to be able to look after dogs properly? Exactly. So instead, let us strengthen the ABC program. How do we strengthen it? Is through the network of animal people. The feeders who take care of dogs on the street, who know the dogs, who understand what triggers a dog, how to stop a bite, because they understand why a dog will bite and why a dog won't. They are your first line of defense. Enroll them into the program officially. Give them the ABC program to run. And you will see zero corruption, 100% efficiency. Along with the municipality can't run this program. They don't know dogs, they don't like dogs, they don't have any expertise or training or
The
motivation.
main point is that they don't like dogs.
Exactly. So they don't know how to deal with them. Give it to people who like the subject. We'll do an excellent job. Give us a chance.
Thank you.